Most anybody who has started a cardiovascular training program knows, and started running or jogging knows the interval program. So you walk for a certain amount of time and then you run for a certain amount of time. And the goal is to decrease your walk time and increase your run time. So when I first started, I was probably walking for 9 minutes and 55 seconds and slow jogging for 5 seconds. That was all I could manage. It's a long process of getting your muscles able to handle the physical exertion, but also your lungs and heart able to manage the exertion. Because being completely denervated, you have all the nerves severed to the heart. So there's a whole training process that goes into training your heart to take this new heart to take other cues from your body, not the nerves that go to it, because there are none, to start to pump faster. So it has to go off of adrenaline and other cues to say, all right, I need to pump faster so that this person can jog. Likewise, cool down periods at the end of exercise have to be longer and more pronounced, because you don't want to be sitting on the sofa and still have your heart pumping as fast as if you were jogging. So it's an education process for the body itself, and that's what I went through in cardiac rehab. So late in the process of cardiac rehab, I'm jogging on the treadmill. I'm feeling good, and I go for 30 seconds at a jog, and I felt great, and I had not been able to do 30 seconds before. And so I look over to my therapist and I was like, do you mind if I go a little longer? He's like, yeah, I think you can do it. Just don't overdo it. I said, okay. And so I go for another 30 seconds. And I'm starting to feel something, but I don't know exactly what that something is yet. And I was afraid he was going to tell me to stop and get off the treadmill. So when he wasn't looking, he was working with another patient, I picked up the pace again. And then all of a sudden, my feet get light on the treadmill, and my chest lifts up, and my shoulders pull back, and I get goosebumps all over my arms and all over the back of my neck. And with that, I get the most brief glimpse of a runner's high. And with that runner's high, all these memories of what it felt like to be healthy come flooding back into my mind. And I'd completely forgotten what healthy felt like. I'd forgotten what I was fighting to get back to. And with that glimpse, I knew that I just wanted to train hard enough and get myself back to a certain position so that I could feel more of that and truly celebrate this third chance at life that I had been given, and honor my donor. And that's what I was going to do. So I finished up with physical therapy, with cardiac rehab. I got a treadmill for my house. I got a weight system for my house, stuff that I've been doing at cardiac rehab. I took over a basement that at one point was going to be a very nice room that my wife and I could have lounged in, and turned it into a gym. And I started training. I knew that it was important to get back to full health. And I didn't know how or if I could do that. But I'm on the treadmill, and I'm running, and my wife comes down to the basement. She looks at me, and she's like, you're not going to become one of those guys, right? You get a second or third chance at life, all of a sudden you start running marathons. I was like, no, that's not me. I don't like being around that many people. I don't have the shorts for it. I hate running. No. So 2 months later, I enter into my first 5K. Completely caught me off guard. But after that, that 2 months later was 8 months post-transplant. 2 months after that was 10 months post-transplant, and I had entered into and completed my first half marathon. And that was November of 2011. And as I'm training, I start raising money and awareness for all the organizations that help save my life. So it started with Team in Training and the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. I start going to the American Heart Association Heart Walk. I start going to the Gift of Life donor dash in Philadelphia. And I start trying to find different ways to give back. And I start talking for these organizations. And I start sharing my story. And I was like, you know what, this running thing's great, but it's not going to be enough. I need to do something more. This feels amazing, but I have to do more. And they're like, do more? You're already running. You know, you're already doing half marathons. What are you going to do? I was like, I want to try triathlon. And so January of 2012, I start swimming, and I meet this coach, and I'm nervous again, taking off my shirt in front of new people. It's not just the cancer scar now, but now I have this new scar, and I lovingly refer to this part of my body as my Franken torso. It is what it is. It saved my life. But they're scars. And so I was afraid to take my shirt off the first swim practice. But anyway, I hop in the pool, and the coach says, all right, new guys down at the end of the pool, swim to the other side of the pool and come back. I want to see what I'm working with. And I was like, well, I had a pool when I was a kid. I wasn't on the swim team, but I knew how to swim. So I swim to the other side, and I come back. And he's standing there waiting for me. He's like, so what'd you think? You tell me. I was like, well, I thought I did all right. I mean, obviously, I'm deconditioned. I just had a heart transplant a year ago. So, if I build that up, I'll be okay. He's like, maybe. But I would argue that if you lift this, tuck in this, do this, this, and this, right now, that you would be a lot faster. And he said, all right, so do what I just said. Go. Other side of the pool and back. Do it again. And I did those things, and I wouldn't say that I was flying, but I was a lot faster than I was. I went to the other side of the pool, and I come back, and I almost hit my head on the first wall. And he's like, right? And I said, you know what? I'm keeping my mouth shut from here on out. I will do whatever you tell me to do. So 4 months after that, I competed in my first Olympic distance triathlon. The month later, I competed in my first half Ironman. Half Ironman is a 1.2 mile swim, 56 mile bike ride, and a 13.1 mile run, 70.3 total miles. And I felt amazing. I knew it wasn't going to be enough. So I came back to Philly, and I did the full marathon. So I did a 26.2 mile run in November of 2012. And I knew that wasn't going to be enough. I competed in the Transplant Games of America that year in 2012. And I really enjoyed myself, and I got to meet donor families, and I got to meet other heart transplant recipients and other organ transplant recipients like myself. And I called out to my coach, and I said, listen, I got to try something